Hi, I'm Mama Lori, and I'm here to talk to you about how to make really great chocolate chip cookies. Now, I've developed this recipe over 40 years ago. Lots of trial and error, and I've been cooking cookies this way ever since. So what I'm about to share with you does the trick and makes great cookies. So when you're in the kitchen, any cooking, and especially cooking cookies, takes caring. It requires caring. You gotta care about what you're doing. And caring requires quality and generosity. So if you care, you're gonna have your hair up. No hairy cookies. And if you care, you're gonna have clean hands and clean workstation. And you're gonna have clean tools. If you care, you're gonna monitor your cooking. You're going to store your finished product well. You're going to do all of those things well. And if you care, you're going to use quality ingredients. Now, I'm talking quality. Don't scrimp on quality. So I like to use dark brown sugar in my cookies. Dark brown sugar is much more flavorful than light brown sugar or even regular sugar. The next thing you need to do is throw out all your margarine. No margarine in the kitchen. Margarine is not quality. Butter is better. Butter. And specifically for my cookie recipe, I melt the butter. Melting the butter does a couple of things. It makes mixing the batter go much, much faster and smoother. So you're just going to mix that in together with the melted butter until it's smooth. And again, the melted butter helps it to go much faster. It dissolves the brown sugar. At this point in time, you see I have a nice quality whisk. Incorporating all that butter in. Now, it's time for some fresh eggs. I'm going to whisk those in as well. All right, fresh eggs. Back when I had my farm, we had really fresh eggs, but now you got to go to the store and really do a searching job to find good quality eggs. But now look at that batter. Look how smooth and shiny that batter looks. That's when you're going to do the next wonderful thing, real vanilla. It's got to be real vanilla, no fake vanilla. When I say splash, I mean splash. There we go, real vanilla. Once you work the real vanilla in, time to put your dry ingredients. Melting the butter helps this all to go much smoother and faster. At some point in time, we'll have to switch over from the whisk to a spatula. So go a little bit slower, working the sides in to the middle. All right, you can see that the dry ingredients, I had my baking soda. Chocolate chip cookies do not require baking powder. Don't do that, otherwise you'll get chocolate chip cakes. You want baking soda. A little bit of salt. That was all added into the dry ingredients and mixed well. And then the dry ingredients were added to the dough. And you mix it until the floury part is just about gone. Now you got a nice dough here. Really nice dough. Isn't that nice? So what you're going to do now is you are going to do the next quality ingredient. And And also happens to be my secret ingredient, chocolate chips. Say, what's so secret about chocolate chips? They're frozen. That's what's secret. I specifically like dark chocolate chips. And I used a lot. There's 4 cups of chocolate chips in there. 4 cups. That's generosity. And I learned something from my mama and my Grandma Anderson. Generosity is important in life. Listen to that. That's generosity. That's the sound of generosity. So you're going to have that mixed in to those. Grandma Anderson and my mama. Boy, I tell you, if you don't go big, you just go home, man. When you feed somebody, you feed somebody. And that's what I'm talking about here, generosity. And here's another thing about generosity. You find any recipes in recipe books, and they say, oh, maybe this is going to make a dozen cookies. It doesn't. It never makes a dozen cookies. It's so aggravating. I have to double or triple or quadruple the recipe to get a dozen cookies or more. This is going to make dozens of cookies. That's what I'm talking about. Quality, quantity, care. Now look at this dough. We got some good dough. Now you see on the bottom, you can hear the chocolate chips falling on the bottom. That's how you know you got a good quantity of chocolate chips, man, when they're falling on the bottom like that. Okay, so now your dough is ready. Your oven has already been preheated to 375, and you're going to take spoonfuls of this and you're going to put it on your high quality baking stone or cookie sheet. It's got to be high quality. A lot of cookie failure comes from bad tools and bad equipment. And you're going to cook it until you like it, maybe 8 to 10 minutes, depending on if you like it chewier, gooier, or firm. So that's why you watch really, really carefully. So there it is. There it is. Care, quality, generosity, and of course my tricks, melted butter, frozen chocolate chips, and by golly, store these in the freezer when they're all done. You cool them down completely, you put them on trays to freeze them, and then you seal them up in your freezer, and that's where you keep them. Don't put them in a cookie jar on the counter because they'll dry out. There you go. Care, quality, generosity, melted butter, frozen chocolate chips, stored in the freezer. Enjoy!